Has Pakistan threatened to launch a nuclear strike on Israel? This claim has been made by Iran's senior Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps General Mohsen Rezai, who says, quote, Pakistan has assured us that if Israel uses a nuclear bomb on Iran, then they will attack Israel with a nuclear bomb, unquote. As Iranian hypersonic missiles rained down on Tel Aviv and Haifa, a handful of them managed to evade the Iron Dome and Arrow air defense systems to strike major Israeli centers. The danger is that the next missile flying towards Israel could be a Pakistani nuke, if we were to believe this Iranian general. So has Pakistan decided to sell its nuclear missiles to Iran, or worse, threaten to use them to obliterate the Jewish nation? Back in 2023, Netanyahu had mentioned Pakistan while addressing the broader issue of threats to Israel's existence.
Nuclear weapons meeting up with a militant Islamic regime. The first is called Iran, the second is called Pakistan.
That they intend to give these nuclear weapons to their Houthi proxies and others. And that's nuclear terrorism.
He claimed, quote, I just said that the greatest mission that we have is to prevent a militant Islamic regime from meeting up with nuclear weapons, or from nuclear weapons meeting up with a militant Islamic regime. The first is called Iran, the second called Pakistan, unquote. But it seems the idea of Israeli retaliation has scared Islamabad. First, Pakistan has shut its border crossings with Iran, and then Pakistan's own defense minister claimed they have made no such nuclear missile offer to Tehran. In other words, Pakistani government is now calling the Iranian general a liar. Pakistan's foreign minister Ishaq Dar stated in parliament, quote, this is irresponsible and false news. From our side, there has been no such statement. It was fabricated, unquote. Pakistan is also wary as it has a reputation of being a rogue nuclear state. Islamabad has been found guilty in the past of selling nuclear secrets to countries like North Korea and Iran. Pakistan has also issued a warning to Tel Aviv, stating, quote, Israel dare not look at Pakistan. Pakistan has enough power to respond to any nullified action. Our armed forces are fully alert, unquote. Yet all Islamabad can actually do is make loud statements and make false claims on social media.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Islamabad was recently unable to prevent any Indian military strikes on 9 terror camps inside Pakistan, as well as Indian Air Force strikes on nearly 10 Pakistani air bases. So Pakistan is not in any position to warn Israel. But for Israel, the real threat is Pakistan selling its nuclear weapons to Iran. News reports have cited top intelligence sources claiming that covertly Pakistan may supply Iran with Shaheen-3 medium-range ballistic missiles. Now, supplying Shaheen-3 missiles with a range of 2,700 kilometers could significantly enhance Iran's strike capabilities against Israel. It seems Pakistan is keen to play both sides, openly supporting Iran while staying out of the conflict under direct US pressure. Now, the recent conflict started as Israel launched a massive onslaught against Iranian nuclear facilities. More than 50 fighter jets, including F-35s, F-15s and F-16s, were used along with drones, loitering munitions and Israeli commandos operating from inside Iranian territory. The target were Iranian nuclear program centers as well as Iranian air defense systems. While Iranian social media users claim shooting down 3 Israeli F-35 stealth fighter jets and capturing an Israeli female fighter pilot, no such claim has been officially verified. These are similar to Pakistan's fake claims recently of shooting down 5 Indian fighter jets, though till now Islamabad has failed to show a single piece of evidence after the Indian military strikes deep inside Pakistan.
It's all over the social media, on Indian social media, not on our social media.
Indian Chief of Defense Staff also termed Pakistani claims as fake news and incorrect.
Absolutely incorrect.
India has urged all citizens to evacuate the Iranian capital Tehran, signaling that this war may only be getting started. Iran and Israel, it seems, have reached the point of no return, and an all-out war could be possible unless Iran agrees to abandon its nuclear program. Israeli jets have already bombarded Iran's nuclear enrichment plants and eliminated the top Iranian military leadership. With Iran hitting back with hypersonic missiles, this has raised fears of a possible World War III-like situation in the Middle East, with US now also moving its aircraft carrier groups closer to Iranian shores. So whose side is Pakistan on? Is it Iran or US-backed Israel? Pakistan is the only Muslim-majority country with nuclear weapons, though international media reports have suggested that Islamabad was incapable of developing its own nuclear weapons and that instead it was handed nuclear blueprints by China. Other reports claim United States has stationed its own nukes inside Pakistan and uses Islamabad as a military base in this region. Whatever be the case, Pakistan does possess nuclear warheads and has clearly stated that it stands in solidarity with the government and people of Iran against Israel. Though due to US pressure, Pakistan is unlikely to take any direct action. In fact, Pakistan has shut its borders with Iran. Additionally, this is why US President Trump saved Pakistan recently from the Indian military onslaught, as US needed Pakistan to isolate Iran during this conflict with Israel. So are Pakistani nukes a threat to the world? Weapons of mass destruction in Pakistan's arsenal include at least 100 nuclear weapons and 200 ballistic missiles, according to a report by the Stockholm Institute of Research. Pakistan has created about 4,000 kilograms of weapons-grade uranium, which is 90% plus enrichment, and about 400 kilograms of weapon-grade plutonium. Moreover, unlike India, Pakistan does not have any no-first-use policy and instead follows a full-spectrum deterrence doctrine. But the real fear is that Pakistani nukes could fall in the hands of extremist terror groups. Pakistan army is regularly seen with UN-designated terror groups in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, while Hamas leaders have been hosted inside Pakistan. According to a report by the Times of India, a Hamas team visited terror group Jaish's headquarters in Bahawalpur in close proximity to a Pakistan army facility. This particular terror camp was destroyed by Indian military strikes during Operation Sindoor recently. So is there a possibility of Pakistani nukes falling in the hands of Hamas? Right before Indian military's Operation Sindoor, several Pakistani ministers had publicly threatened to attack even India with nuclear weapons.
ये जो गोरी, शहीन, गजनवी, ये चौकों में सजाने के लिए नहीं हमने रखे हुए.
Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh on the 15th of May sought an International Atomic Energy Agency monitoring of Pakistan's nuclear arsenal. Singh questioned if nukes were safe in the hands of a rogue and irresponsible nation like Pakistan. He stated, quote, "I believe that Pakistan's atomic weapons should be brought under the surveillance of the IAEA. I want to say this very clearly. The entire world has seen how Pakistan has irresponsibly threatened India with nuclear attacks multiple times," unquote. However, the Indian government led by Prime Minister Modi called Pakistan's nuclear bluff after the Pahalgam terror attack by Pakistan-based terror group. Indian military then hammered 10 Pakistani air bases, rendering them useless. Amid growing tensions between Iran and Israel, India has also upheld its own position on this dispute. India is among a handful of nations with ties to both Israel and with Iran. On the 14th of June, India distanced itself from the statement released by the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Instead, the Ministry of External Affairs stated, quote, We urge that channels of dialogue and diplomacy be utilized to work towards de-escalation, and it is essential that the international community undertake endeavors in that direction." Unquote. If the Iran-Israel dispute turns out into a wider war, other players like the Houthis getting involved, the Indian economy could feel a pinch. Iraq's Deputy Prime Minister has already warned that oil prices could hike up to $200 to $300 per barrel. A price rise could have an effect on India's GDP growth, as the nation meets 85% of its oil needs through imports. Trade disruptions is another major consequence of the ongoing crisis. In FY25, India exported goods worth $1.2 billion to Iran and imported goods worth $440 million. Trade with Israel is even higher, with $2.15 billion in exports and $1.6 billion in imports. Escalation of tensions between Iran and Israel could affect this trade, while exports could also face 15 to 20% higher logistics costs. As the war rages on, one can only hope that all those involved do not cross the nuclear threshold. But what do you believe? Is there a danger of Pakistani nukes falling in the hands of extremist terror groups? Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button and subscribe to Inconnect News.